Hey, it's Richard with Matthews Wealth Management, and we've got Kyle McMackin from Main Street Insurance here in Fountain Inn. We're going to be continuing our series on Medicare. So the first video, if you haven't caught up yet, is Medicare 101, where we break down Part A and Part B. We've got another video where we brought Kyle in to talk about Medicare Advantage as the first option to start filling in some of those gaps. And so we've got him back to discuss the supplement or the Medigap plans, the interchangeable terms, to see exactly how those work. So go back, watch the other videos if you haven't already, but other than that, take it away, Kyle.
All right, thanks, Richard. I'll jump right into it. So since we have Medicare Advantage out of the way, it's the most complicated, I feel like. And you know, the reason I started doing Medicare, I forgot to mention this earlier, is that I saw what my grandmother went through and how difficult it was to make these decisions and how complicated. I feel like, Richard, at this part in your life, things need to be simple. They don't need to be complicated. It's just the only reason I do Medicare. It's one of the things that we do, but it's the one I take the most pride in because it's so confusing, but we make it fun and I'll make it quick for you too. So this is the most traditional method because it's been around since the 60s. As Richard told you, Part A and Part B have a lot of gaps. So that's why they came up with the term Medigap. It covers those gaps for the most part. And you'll hear Medicare Supplement because that's what the technical term is, Medicare Supplement. So when you deal with Medicare and Part A and Part B, you want to make sure that it covers the deductibles. For the most part, your doctor's visits, everything on this side is going to be all health related. So when you do that, there are different plans, and this is where it gets very confusing. You'll have plan F, G, N, way too many options. But they do. Luckily, if you're over the age of 65, Plan F is still available to you if you hadn't already elected a plan. If you're just turning 65, anytime after January 1, 2020, only Plan G, N, and several others. So at this time, I only talk about G and N to keep it simple because it's the only two plans I would purchase myself. So when we do that, Plan F was by far the superior plan because it covered everything A and B did not cover. So with all those gaps, Plan F, you paid your monthly premium and it covered everything. It was full benefits for Plan F. Yeah. Plan G is the next best thing that's going to be available to all you, the mature market that's going to age in at Medicare at 65. Plan G, it covers everything that Plan F covered minus your Part B deductible. So you pay that Part B deductible once a year, then you're done. Everything is covered that A and B does not cover, as long as it's a Medicare approved expense.
And how much is that Part B deductible?
$198.
Okay.
It is this year.
It used to be lower. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think it was 162 at one point, then 185, and
when I first started, it was $135.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, so I like using round figures. So when we look at Plan N, it's slightly different than G. So that's where Richard comes into play. It all depends on your budget, which is the best plan for you. But keeping it simple, I would only purchase those two, so I highly recommend reviewing those with your professional, Medicare professional. And the most complicated part of this is that all of that just covers the health insurance. You still got to pick up your drug plan. So the drug plan is where working with a professional, not saying that because I do this for a living, but it is the most complicated because the formularies are constantly changing, the covered drugs. The prescriptions you take constantly change. So they're in and out. Generics are being introduced every day, and Medicare loves generics. And now these plans are all being affiliated with pharmacies. So the pharmacy you go to could play a huge role. It could mean thousands of dollars a year. So 30 minutes a year spend on your drug plan, looking at the drugs that you take, making sure you have the right plan, because it could mean a ton of savings, and I'm sure Richard talks to you about that quite often.
Yeah, I had a client who was 92 who had been on the same drug plan for, I think it was probably like 7 or 8 years, and all of the drugs that she was taking were not covered under the formulary. They weren't generics, so I think she was paying over $7,000 a year just for the co-pays on that drug plan. Not to mention that drug plan premium was over $100 by itself per month. So all of those things added up, and at the time we just plugged in that, I think Medicare.gov at the time, they probably still do. You can plug in all of that stuff and it'll kick out, and she ended up saving like $5,000 a year just by looking at it. So definitely reviewing that piece is very valuable.
It is, and just like the Medicare Advantage plan, I know we don't like change, but this is going to change every year whether you want to or not. So take a few minutes and look at it, because they're likely, you're going to change. Most of my folks have to, they're forced to. But now let me talk about this whole combination, the advantages of this versus the Medicare Advantage plan. So let's recap on the Medicare Advantage. Is a really low cost monthly premium, but you're going to pay as you need it. It's the bundled coverage. This is more traditional. If you're going to travel, this is the biggest key. I always ask my clients a few questions at the beginning, and this gives me the trigger of what plan's likely going to be the best for them. And like I told you, half my folks go with this, the other half go with the Med Advantage. So I'm not going to be biased on either, but if you're going to travel, this is going to be the way to go, because the other Medicare Advantage is set up to just cover your region. You're covered in emergencies, but you have to deem it is indeed an emergency. This will travel all 50 states and also cover you 80% abroad.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice. And very good. So to make sure I understand here, we've got our Part A and Part B that we've got under regular Medicare, so our red, white, and blue card. We're paying $144.60 a month for
Standard
Part B,
premium.
and then we're going to pay a separate premium to one of these companies for a Plan G or a Plan N, and then if it's the Plan G, we pay the $198 once per year and no other costs. Is that right? Besides prescriptions?
Yeah, you have to pick up the drug plan. That's correct.
Wow, perfect. Okay, so that's simple. It's multiple cards, right? We're carrying the red, white, and blue card. We're carrying a company card here and another drug card here, right?
You will have 3 in your wallet.
Okay.
If you choose option 2.
Okay.
Yep. But it's the more predictable method to take, and one is not better than the other. It all comes down to your comfort zone. If you want to pay a monthly premium and know that the majority of it's going to be covered, you're not going to end up with a $2,000 bill for a 10-day hospital stay, then option 2 is probably the way to go. If you're going to travel, option 2 is the way to go.
So let's say I've got an option 2. I've gone with Mutual of Omaha Plan G, and all of a sudden I want to change my mind and switch to an N with AARP, or the companies better than I do, but how do I do that, or can I do that?
That's a good question, Richard. So when you turn 65, or when you're first introduced to Medicare A and B, you get this your one freebie. You don't have to answer a single health question. So if you do that, you want to pick a reputable company that has the least amount of rate increases in the past. That's all we have to go off of. So what I do for my clients, I review the last 10 years, and we see exactly for their age, their zip code, it's all based on counties, what's the best plan for them right now. And it can change yearly. So when we do that, we want to put them in a plan that they're likely going to keep the rest of their life. Because if you do what Richard said and you want to change to a different Medicare supplement, you got to answer health questions. And a lot of times you can't qualify for it. So when I told you at the beginning to take all the mail that you get when you're nearing 65 and throw it away, the reason being is that a lot of these companies have low introductory rates. So you got that one freebie to enroll with no health questions, but if you want to change in the future to a different number or a different letter, a different company, you're going to have to answer health questions, and a lot of times my folks can't qualify for a change due to health history. So that's why we do the research for you to find the reputable company that has the A rating plus the financial backing to limit the rate increases. They're all going to go up every year. There's no way around it. Sure. And these are going to change every year, whether you like it or not. So this would be the package where you, like you said, you have 3 cards in your wallet, but it's more predictable, and it's okay. I'm okay carrying a couple more cards to know that everything's going to be covered.
Awesome. So we're buying this for the long haul, and we're reevaluating these every single year.
Every year. Please
Awesome.
do that. And it's just a list. Your pharmacy will print you out a list of your meds. Take it to your advisor, and we'll run them and see what's the best plan for you.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank Kyle for being here. Kyle McMackin of Main Street Insurance. One of the things that separates Kyle from the rest of the salespeople out there is he'll actually spend the time with the clients year in and year out doing this kind of research to save the $5,000 a year in copays and making sure that you're up to speed on all of the options available. As these numbers change year to year, he's he's in all of the details. He's just like me, but on the insurance side, a real nerd if you ask me. But I really appreciate you being here, Kyle. And if you have any kind of questions, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Kyle. We're here to help, and join us next time.